is Jeff Vassar, Executive Director of the New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism. Jeff was appointed to lead the division in 2018. Prior to that, he was the Executive Director of the Central PA Convention and Visitors Bureau, and prior to that, CEO of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association. Earlier, for 11 years, Jeff served as president of the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Authority, overseeing the daily operations of the authority's two major convention and event facilities and marketing that destination city. Earlier in his career, he worked for two international consulting firms, developing strong project management skills while managing engagements ranging from preparing the bid package for an Olympic organizing committee to the feasibility studies for arenas, museums, and mixed-use real estate developments. Jeff is a consensus builder with strong communication and interpersonal skills, and he has a passion for politics and international affairs as well, and volunteers as an election observer for the Carter Center and has served on multiple missions to Venezuela and Jamaica. Please join me in welcoming Jeff Vassar.
Thank you, Mike. And hello, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Can everybody see my screen? Hopefully that's working. Forgive me. Mike, if I could get a copy of that intro, that was wonderful. Nobody's ever said things like that about me before, so I appreciate it.
Happy to.
Thank you. So you'll see on my screen the theme of my presentation is aspirational. And for all of us that live on the shore counties, we are 45 days away from Memorial Day, which to me is, the kickoff of the best part of the year. I am a shore boy. I grew up in Margate, outside of Atlantic City, and I still live in that area. And I'm thrilled to be able to be with fellow shore people. So with that said, I'd like to share with you just some of the results that we had from last year, as well as the impact that we're talking about for 2020 and what we're doing to lessen the impact and moving forward in our marketing campaign to bring tourism back to all of New Jersey. All right. We don't have the 2020 numbers yet. We should have them within the next several weeks, but I don't think I've presented to this group the 2019 overall numbers. Tourism in New Jersey is still the 6th largest employer in the state, reflects about 343,000 direct jobs, and that's roughly a 2.7% increase from the prior year. We had a record year of visitation in 2019. We had 116 million visitors, which is a 5% growth from the prior year. And we were, frankly, on our way to meeting the governor's challenge to us. I'm sure several of you are aware that the challenge he put to us was 150 million visitors by 2023. And certainly by 2019 and the early part of 2020, we felt that we were well on our way to being able to hit that number. Of our 116 million visitors, they spent $46 billion in New Jersey. And that $46 billion was a 3.8% growth over the prior year, also a record. And the interesting thing, most interesting to me, if you look at the pie chart on the left, was the split of that spending. Typically, lodging had been the far and away largest segment of the pie. But last year, food and beverage climbed to pretty much even with the lodging sector. So that's a great thing for the restaurants. And we'd like to think that, we played a small part of that because we shifted our marketing focus in 2018 to include not only hotels and the shore communities, but our restaurants, our farm to table options that people can take advantage, the wineries and the breweries. And I don't know if you are all familiar, but the New Jersey had the fastest growth rate of new breweries, craft breweries, of any state in the country. So that has presented us with a great opportunity to market the culinary tourism aspect of what we have, and to be able to partner with hotels and attractions and shopping. So it gave people a more complete tourism destination experience that they were previously able to get, from our marketing alone. Tourism employment, I mentioned that, we had 343,000 direct jobs. If you look at the total impact, including the non-direct, New Jersey had 542,000 jobs, which represented almost 10% of all jobs in New Jersey. I did highlight the Monmouth County and the Ocean County figures. And in Monmouth County, we were 8.8% of private sector jobs in Monmouth County were associated with tourism. And in Ocean County, it was almost 15% of jobs in the private sector were associated with tourism. Our visitation numbers, I mentioned we had 116 million in 2019. And that was a 4.9% growth rate for the state. Again, you can see all of the county breakdowns, and Monmouth County had 3.2% growth over the prior year with almost 9 million visitors. And Ocean County also had 9 million visitors, and that reflected a 4% growth rate. Of the spending, of the $46 billion in spending, Monmouth had 2.7 billion and Ocean County had $5 billion. Monmouth was a 3.1% growth rate and Ocean was 4.1% growth. And then of course, you have the realization of what happened in 2020. You see we were well on our way, as I said, to the 150 million goal that we had. As I said, we don't have the actual numbers yet for 2020, but when we had our visitor economic impact study done last May, we were already a few months into the pandemic, and we asked our researchers to look at the impact of COVID on New Jersey tourism and to give us some projections of what we were going to look like over the next couple of years. So for visitation, the expectation was that we were going to be down about 25%, down to about 88 million visitors this year. And then we were gradually going to start climbing back. We see nothing that basically is telling us that it's not going to be a 25% drop or in that range. But depending on how long it takes for us to recover in 21, hopefully we'll be back on track to hit that 110 million. But we will have a more updated figure probably in the next month. Anecdotally speaking, and I'm sure you folks have seen this as well, we were pleasantly surprised at how well the shore did last year. I think it's a combination of great weather. People just had so much pent-up demand to get out outside, and people perceived the beach and the boardwalk and any outdoor activity as being safe. And I think this year we're going to be looking at the same thing, and probably even better because of the vaccines. And I think because people are, more conscious of outdoor living now, people are being safer. And of course, the restrictions have been eased, where last year restaurants at the beginning of the summer were at 10% indoor capacity. Now we're at 50%. Down here in my part of the world, Atlantic City, the casinos didn't open until early July. So this year, of course, they're going to be open, for the entire summer. And again, hopefully that's going to drive more people, to our Jersey Shore, as well as in-state folks. Of course, the thing that we can't control right now is the weather. And hopefully our weather this year will be as good as it was last year. So we're looking at roughly 88 million visitors this year, a drop of about 25%. So what have we been doing? When the pandemic started, last spring, the first thing we did was we, pulled all of our in-your-face advertising about come to the Jersey Shore. This is where you want to be. And until we figured out what this was going to look like, and frankly, what the mindset of our visitors were going to be. We did some research. We found that even though people were at home, they still had a desire to travel. They still were aspirational about being, able to go out there again. And what we wanted to do was to create a level of awareness and making sure that New Jersey remained top of mind, so that when we were able to travel again, people would think of New Jersey first. And what we wanted to do was really to recreate in their minds that feeling and that nostalgia and the great memories that people had about the Jersey Shore. So what we did is we created a resource called New Jersey in the House. There was a campaign that we put on our website. It launched in April 2020. And again, the idea was to recreate, all of the sights and sounds, and of course we joke about the smells of New Jersey that people have, and we wanted to recreate that on our website. So again, the idea was to make sure that we were top of mind, and whenever this was going to be over, that people would think of New Jersey and they were going to continue to come out and support us. One of the things that were part of the campaign was live stream videos of the conditions along our beaches. We wanted to, as people were getting ready, as it was getting warmer, even in the springtime, people wanted to get out and walk the boardwalk. We wanted to make sure that they saw what the conditions were and invite people to come down. We had virtual tours. We asked all of our museums and the educational attractions that were throughout the state to put something up on our website, so that we can again, entice people to go back there when the pandemic ended, as well as to give these folks at the zoos and at the museums something to keep their visitors occupied. We made it a little fun. We had some whimsical games. We had New Jersey Bingo, we called it, and then we had a game that we created, which was a lot of fun to put together, called This and That. And basically, what we did is we took the ever-present fight between pork roll and Taylor ham and things like that, and made a game between what the North Jersey lexicon and South Jersey, and we made a game with that. So that we got a lot of play with that. People enjoyed it. And we got a lot of emails about things to add to it. So you could see the engagement on something like that was very positive. Unfortunately, many of us became Zoom experts over the course of the past year. So what we thought we would do is to create some downloadable backgrounds. You see, I have one behind me, and we asked each region to submit one or two, and eventually we got to a point where we have many different scenes from throughout New Jersey that people can download on their background, and again, it certainly helps with our branding campaign. Everybody knows about the great history New Jersey has around music, whether it's Springsteen or Sinatra. There are so many artists who are either singers or songwriters. And what we want to do is create a Spotify playlist where you can download songs from all of our artists and all of our New Jersey famous people that were part of the music scene. We also did something with movies. We created, with the help of the Motion Picture and Television Commission, a movie list. And again, it was for people where the actors or the screenwriters or the scenes or the production occurred somewhere in New Jersey. And ultimately what we did is we kind of combined them, and we had Dinner and a Movie campaign, where we invited you to go to your local restaurant to get takeout or delivery, get a bottle of New Jersey wine or a New Jersey craft beer, and then come sit down in your house and watch a great New Jersey film. Virtual cooking classes. Cooking, as we found, was one of the pastimes that people really spent a lot of time doing when they were stuck in their house. And what we did was ask top chefs from around the state. We got one from each region, and asked them to go into the kitchen and prepare their favorite dish. And that was a great hit. It kicked off with our own Secretary of State, Tahisha Wei, who is an accomplished baker in her own right. And she kicked off the interactive cooking class for us. And it was a lot of fun to put these things together. We also realized at the time that, the restaurant industry was really struggling, and they took the biggest hit of anybody. And we created a campaign that supported the restaurants and our wineries and our breweries. And we did a full-pronged campaign on television, on radio. We had outdoor billboards going. We had print with this campaign to support the restaurants and breweries. It's a small part, certainly, but we did as much as we could, and we continued to support them, because they, as we all know, have taken the biggest hit. But we wanted to support the takeout and the curbside, and keep as many people employed in that sector as we could. The campaign performance, in and of itself, as of a few months ago, was successful. Our time per visit and bounce rate were above average. Again, what isn't necessarily reflected here was, all of the emails that we received from folks that, had suggestions and wanted to participate. And that was a great thing for us. Additionally, some coverage that we had for the campaign. And what we're doing now is we wanted to include the retail. We wanted to promote shop local as well as the dine local. We wanted to make sure that the small businesses were getting our support, and we partnered with United Airlines to create an app on their site to support, and we did one for North Jersey, Central Jersey, and South Jersey. And the idea was to, upload, information about different shopping opportunities throughout the state in their particular areas. So you can go online, or you can go on the app rather, and, look into a certain part of the state, and you'll see, all the different retailers that are a part of it. It's something that's, on the App Store, it's in Google Play. And certainly United Airlines has been a great partner with that, and is helping us push that out, because it's good for them too. And we're doing similar partnerships like that with others in the future. So where are we going now? As I said, the benefit that we have is, our shore did well last summer. We're anticipating the shore is going to do as well, if not better, this summer. But we have a great advantage over a lot of other states and destinations by virtue of the fact that we are a drive-to destination. The majority of our visitors, especially to the shore, come from in-state, New York, Pennsylvania, up into New England. And, when I was in Atlantic City, we used to say that, we are one tank of gas from a third of the US population. That's a great position to be in. People are more likely to get in a car with their family or with their pod group of over the past year before they're ready to get on an airplane. So we have that advantage that when we come out of this, we're going to be in a better position than a lot of other destinations. So our focus on our campaign is going to be targeted towards that, that drive-in destination. However, I will say that we have been fortunate that our legislature and the governor's office has proposed in the upcoming year's budget significantly increased dollars for our tourism marketing campaign. So what we're going to look to do is to go beyond our primary markets of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and push into Virginia, the Washington, Baltimore corridor, go into Ohio, West Virginia, up through entirely into the New England markets, and tap into the international markets. Canada, for now, hopefully their travel restrictions will be lifted soon, but we don't see international coming probably for another year. However, there's a lot of pre-work that has to be done to prepare for it. Right now, international is about 6% of our visitors. And I want to get that up to 10% because we have so many great assets, not only being close to New York City and Philadelphia, but Newark International Airport, Newark Liberty, 15 million international arrivals per year. And we've historically never marketed to them. Even if we just capture a fraction of those people that come into Newark or Philadelphia that go into South Jersey, that's a huge economic impact for us because those of you in the tourism sector know that the international traveler stays longer, spends more things to do, and this is a great opportunity for us to go for them. But initially, it's going to be better days are ahead. Talking about moving forward, welcoming people back to New Jersey. We're talking about a celebrity features in probably the third or fourth phase of folks talking about why they should come back to New Jersey and how important New Jersey has been. But we're optimistic. Again, with the extra campaign dollars, we're going to focus mostly on digital, but we're going to do some television, and again, we're going to go into the outer markets, areas where we haven't traditionally gone before, and hopefully, by fall, we're going to be talking about really seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So with that said, that is the end of my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.